asked me, for advice and like what to do. And this was earlier on when COVID was pretty new. And they're like, well, we're looking at educators like you to lead us the way. And I'm like, uh, I'm not an epidemiologist. Like, just do whatever your state tells you to do. Like, viruses aren't my forte. Actually, for me, I think I'm a bit of an introvert, and I realized it more going through this because I've been quite content to be home, read books, hang out, shoot video, work on online stuff with a
Mm.
relatively small amount of contact, including doing podcasts, making phone calls, talking to colleagues, checking on what's going on.
Also, what I find quite interesting as well is like when people say like, "Well, I've got I've got no work at the moment. What can I do?" Well, I mean, the answer was pretty easy for me. Is that okay? If I can't work, then I'm just going to shoot. I'm going to keep shooting videos, and I'm just going to do as many as I can. But then what I come to realize is, and this is leading on to why I think video is important. What I was saying to you earlier on. Now we've got this extra time. I'm speaking to other therapists. I'm saying, okay, we've got all this extra time now. Why don't we start making videos? And the amount
Yeah.
of people who don't want to be on the camera is
Yep.
more than surprising to me, because look, guys, you've got no work happening. You want to be able to advertise for work. You don't have the money to invest in a huge advertising campaign that, if you're thinking about doing that. So let's do video. And so many people just don't want to get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's the stage of the game that I'm at the moment, because I remember having a conversation with yourself and a few other of your students on a Zoom event, on a Zoom call, and I think most of them were going through that. Think, well, what am I going to say in front of the camera? What am I going to do in front of the camera? How am I going to look, to the general public?
Yeah.
But I'm at another phase in my development, whereas I'm not thinking about how I look on camera. I'm thinking about, well, how do I improve my editing? How do I improve my video quality? How do I make my videos stand out, like, with graphics
Yep.
and text and that sort of thing. So I'm really, so at the moment, my challenge is, well, several challenges really: improve my video quality through editing and what have you, and also just trying to get the bodies in front of the camera as well. It's really can be quite difficult, but it is very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really realize that when I started shooting video that the real reason people didn't want to be on video is they're insecure about how they look or how they sound, or all these
Mm.
various things. For better or worse, I had the gift of gab, so I took the video pretty easily. It certainly
Mm.
improved over time, but I had things to say, and I didn't care if people called me fat or said things about me, so I just shot video. And for me, in an industry where people don't shoot video, that was a winning formula.
Yeah.
Much like you, I'm trying to figure out how do you make it better. I'm working on multi-camera live streams so I can teach online more easily. Things along those lines. Graphics, editing, rendering video, adding music, multiple shots, different camera angles. I mean, it's really infinitely complex, and you get to this point, you're like, man, I'm a body worker. Like, what's all this Federico Fellini camera angles, the art that's basically stacked on the video, but it's really just having enough. It's plenty to start just with your smartphone and just make Instagram videos and get comfortable on camera, and then continue to expand through repeated iteration. You do it again and again and again and just improve it. Layer after layer after layer. And I mean, look, just before we got on here, I'm like, I can't get Zoom to work. How does it do this? It's not, I don't know, it's like I'm
Yeah.
figuring it out as I go. Like, I don't have everything together. It's been disheartening to me to see that therapists aren't spending their time working on their business this way. But I also have a different mentality when it comes to how I think these things are built. Does it make sense?